started recording the folk songs of the villages and trying to see how the different ragas came out of the folk music. And eventually I was always interested in the music of Kabir and the poet saints of India, Kabir, Gorakhnath, Tukaram, Meera, Tyagaraja, Purandar Das. These are some of the self-realized saints of India who wrote very beautiful songs and poems. Most of my concerts all over the world are singing the poetry of the self-realized saints of India based on Indian classical music. Before I sing any song, I read out my own English translations. So these songs are very powerful. These songs actually, they transform my life. They transform me. The songs and the music. In India, they say, if you've studied Ayurveda, the Ayurvedic, the herbal preparations are always given with honey or with the juice of the tulsi plant, because the honey acts like a transporting agent. The honey has the capacity to take the medicinal substance deep into your tissues. I find that music does the same thing. The poems of Kabir are very, very powerful, and they have the capacity to really shake you from the inside and to transform your life. But if you just read the poem or just hear them recited, that is good. That has an effect. But if they are sung by somebody, and if the music is in confluence with the mood of the poem, if the music has been done in such a way that it enhances the basic mood of the song, of the poem, then that's a very potent, a very powerful combination. And as a transformative tool, for me, it is unparalleled. So this is what I do now, to sing the poetry of the saints of India. Raga Bháirava actually is also the name of one of the thats, the 10 scales of North Indian Hindustani classical music. There are 10 scales, and and each scale gives rise to thousands of ragas. And each scale is also the name of the principal raga of that scale also. So one of those scales is called Bhairav. So it is a that. So in that sense, it is complete, it's a sampurna raga, complete raga, in the sense that all the notes are there. So Bhairav is supposed to be sung in the morning. The principal mood of the raga is peace and devotion. But devotion is not a good word, because devotion, in English there's only one word, devotion. But in Sanskrit there are 9 different shades of devotion. 9 words, 9 different words for devotion, or different kinds of devotion. The kind of devotion that Bhairav Raga invokes is not so much a beseeching and begging, but more of a sort of peaceful, it's a very masculine kind of devotion, Bhairav, the name Bhairav is it's a name for Lord Shiva, but Lord Shiva in a wrathful aspect. Angry, wrathful, but not anger as we understand it. It is anger towards negativity, anger towards demonic forces, all the things in the universe which are against integration, against beauty, against harmony, against peace. And the universe has such forces. There are people and there are beings, who thrive on negative forces. And Shiva is the one, when he is angry, it's very rare that when he's angry. When he's angry, he is known as Bhairav, and wrathful aspect. So it might be a puzzle for some people who are not familiar with Indian classical music. Why is the name of a raga which invokes peace and which is sung early in the tranquil hours of the morning? Why is it called Bhairav? Because there are other associations. Lord Shiva is not just an angry god, Lord Shiva is also a yogi. There is the idea of detachment, of somebody who has got no possessions and is almost naked and living in the Himalayas, in the mountain cave, and has long dreadlocks. So there is a feeling of austerity. So austere devotion is another feeling that is invoked by Bhairava. And the early morning is the best time when the world is asleep. Worldliness is on a low level. The sounds in the air are little, so it comes closer to the atmosphere of the Himalayas, where there is silence. So solitude, silence, peace, the devotion that one feels early in the morning, and the sky is deep blue, or when the sun is just pre-dawn hours, it is dark blue, which is the color of Lord Shiva. So emotionally, the raga tends to have a grounding effect. As far as the chakras go, it tends to harmonize, the lower chakras. Therapeutically, it is a wonderful raga for curing depression, because it is a serious raga, it is a gambhir raga. For example, somebody who's crying inside, is grieving and is struggling with issues of loss and grief. You take that person to a disco, they might not feel very much at home, where there's a lot of lively music and people are dancing. The person is not in the mood for that. There is a time for that. I'm not looking down on that. There is a time for revelry and laughter and all that. But when the person is not in that frame, and to put that person artificially in that atmosphere is not going to help them. So Bhairav is the ideal raga for somebody in that frame of mind, because it will meet them where they are. It tends to, like Shiva, Shiva is almost naked. So this raga tends to make you internally, it tends to remove all the delusions and all the, by singing this raga and by interacting with it, you tend to, get free of all that stands between you and your true self, And you get the blessings of Lord Shiva, of course, who is a divine cosmic, entity. The ragas are supposed to be perennial, they don't have, there is no history. They have been there since the dawn of creation, because they are divine entities. It is a very ancient raga in the sense that we find very ancient compositions. The emotions that I feel when I sing Bhairava, and I feel that, oh, this is my own subjective feeling, somebody else might feel something else. It's not like that actually. The actual experience has been that other people feel these same emotions. Feeling of longing, a feeling of divine discontent. Bhairava and many of the other Indian ragas, they will, they create a feeling of discontent so that you start looking for the higher reality. Unless you look, you will never find it. So, in other words, leading you on to greater beauty, greater harmony. The Indian rishis, they did that also, but they also did turn their consciousness inward and looked at the inner world and tried to do the same thing, tried to see what are the elements in our inner world, the emotions. Are there laws that govern certain emotions? And so music is the science of the emotions. When I sing Bhairav, the emotions of deep devotion, of austere devotion, of longing for God, a longing for a return towards simplicity, for example, detachment from the unreal aspects of life, a pulling back, sort of a withdrawal from excessive involvement with the world. All these are feelings that I experience when I sing Bhairav. And others who hear this raga, they say the same thing to me. The main rasa, the juice, emotional juice, the taste of Bhairava is karuna. That every chakra has a note as a color associated with it. And when you practice music long enough and with the proper sincerity, if you are doing it properly, then you begin to see the colors, and the colors are the same for everybody. If the musician who is singing the raga is aware of this and has practiced and has included the meditation on the chakras in his musical practice, then when that musician sings, then people in the audience can feel the chakras.